Welcome back to the Bachmann Roger project. So I've added the second coat of Roger, so he looks pretty good so far. The wheels are being painted off camera so that the video won't take as long. But now I think we're ready to paint the stripes. This is my least favorite part of painting a train, as always. I mentioned that when I was doing my Hornby Thomas. So while I'm painting the stripes here, let me talk about a few things. So to start off, in part 1, I asked Kelvin Rogers about Cruella, the OC, who is a white 8F or black 5, whatever she's called. I just don't know if she's an 8F or a black 5, but that was one question I had for the YouTube family. He said that I will probably find out in the future, if that's what he said. And another thing about Furby, there was one thing I forgot to mention about him. So in part 1, I explained that I had an idea to ask Furby the E2 himself if I can make him using permission. And if he said yes, that I would take my Nicholas model and repaint him into Furby and rename the episode 10 episode, which was going to be Marissa and Nicholas, Marissa and Furby. Sorry, I almost got tongue twisted, but I'm doing good. So I was going to rename the episode Marissa and Furby if I had permission to make him Furby E2. If he says yes, I don't know if he would. But Kevin Rogers said he would probably say no. But I don't know. Now, what I'm planning to do is, if he says no, then I might probably leave the episode as Marissa and Nicholas. That's just my idea here. And I want to explain that I have a new idea for a Thomas and Lady's Equestrian Adventures episode. So this episode is going to be kind of a special episode because it's going to feature a ton of new characters. Like how in Thomas's Mother there was a bunch of international engines which were new characters. And Marissa and Railroach were first introduced in that episode. So was like Princess Luna. Anyways, the episode is going to be the 9th episode of Thomas and Lady's Equestrian Adventures, right after the episode Liam and Caitlin. So, the episode's going to be called Liam's New Gang, and the episode's going to be about where Liam one day gets bored. Then he notices a newspaper flying in his face, saying to him, come and join the Club Freight. So Club Freight is like a club where engines who shunt and engines who pull freight come together. Like, it's almost like the International Engine Gang, but different. It's actually going to be a club rather than a gang. But in the episode, Liam meets all these new engines, and he wants to become the new leader. But Olivia says that Liam must do something to prove that he's leader worthy. So Liam decides to practice shunting. And then the next day he finds out that Thomas and Marissa have been kidnapped by Randall. And Liam must fight against Randall and his gang to save Thomas and Marissa. But unexpectedly, the club shunting and freight comes to help. So after that, Liam decides to become the leader of the gang. So that's the episode, and I'm not going to talk about the characters just yet, but I will say a couple since I've talked about them in recent custom videos. So I haven't shown you Olivia yet. I have got a Thomas Wood Olivia custom. It's a 3D printed Stepney body, and she's a red terrier, if you want to know what Olivia is. And I have a question for Train Boy 17. So in his Bachmann versus Hornby Liam video, he explained that Olivia and Liam are siblings. But is that really true, though? I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, it's okay if you can tell me, because I would like to be more informed. Just saying. But anyways, Olivia's going to be part of Liam's gang. Liam's going to be the new leader, like I said. And Zach from Modern Railroad will also be there. He will be a part of Liam's gang. And, yeah. And also, Peter from Victor Tanzig will be in the, Liam's new gang episode as well. He will be part of Liam's gang. So there's a couple of engines that are going to be new to Liam's gang. So Liam might probably have a full gang here. Like how Harry and Scaredy have a gang. And so do a couple other trucks like Dread, Eduardo, you name it. And I'm going to explain that I plan to use Caitlin and Liam and Caitlin like I talked about in the past. And at the end of the episode, I may ask you if you guys liked it. And if you guys liked the episode after you watched it, right after I make it, you could tell me what your favorite part was. If I like your statement on what your favorite part was, and if I hear you say it's good, I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. I mean, you can have your opinion on the episode. But if you guys liked the episode, I may use Caitlin in more stories as Liam's new girlfriend. And Caitlin might also be a part of Liam's gang. So, that's just an idea. You know, Scaredy and Slimy are boyfriend and girlfriend. So are Connor and Marion, who Calvin Rogers is playing to make. But anyways, that's the red stripes. So we'll come back and do the black next, and the gold and the yellow. So, jump cut. Alright guys, so now the stripes have dried up, and the wheels are still being painted, but I think we're getting there. So before we actually paint the windows and the letters on his sides yellow, we're going to paint where I messed up on the cab, because it got some blue on it, and we're going to touch them up. And we're actually going to paint the holes of the windows black, so that way it'll be easier to add the yellow. So I think Roger's coming along pretty good. And while I'm doing this, I thought I'd explain something else. So Calvin Rogers, aka the E2 family, told me that he just discovered that Rosa is a private character, and she's owned by Thomas Tank Engine 76. I think that's the number. Correct me if I'm wrong. But he said Rosa's private, so he asked me if I could wait until he makes a character that has Emily's face so that I don't get in trouble. I would like to turn Rosa into something else so I don't get in trouble. Thanks for pointing that out, E2 family. But I have another idea to use for Rosa. So what I was thinking of doing was turning her into Vanessa. If you don't know who that character is, she is a character from the show Phineas and Ferb. So if you guys watch Phineas and Ferb, tell me in the comments below. But she's owned by Train Boy 54, and I don't think that his OCs are private. I mean, I made his My Little Pony characters, and I also plan to make his Phineas and Ferb characters as well. So that's one plan of mine. I plan to turn Rosa into Vanessa. If that's okay with you, E2 family, if you're watching this. If that's okay with the E2 family, I think I'll turn Rosa into Vanessa. Or I can just simply take his idea of mine to make a character that has Emily's face. Whichever one he prefers. I hope he doesn't mind if I turn her into Vanessa. But anyways, the black paint is dry, so we'll come back when it's dry. Alright guys, so the black has dried, and I think all the wheels have been painted. So Roger's coming pretty good so far. We're almost done painting him. We have two things to do now. First, we're going to write his initials. So Roger, some of you know, have the number 77. So Roger's got 77 written on him. And originally his number was right here. But now he has his number on his coal bunker. Roger now has the letters LBSC. So we're going to write those. And while I'm writing Roger's things and painting his windows, I want to go over some other things. So, Kate's almost done. And I'll be saying some other things. So, I recently purchased 2 new trains off of Amazon. They're Thomas Wood engines. And if you're wondering what I'm going to make using those, I ordered a Thomas Wood fully painted James and a half painted Wood Rosie. So I'm planning to turn James into Candace. And Candace is a engine from Phineas and Ferb. So she's basically a red engine with a white tender. There's no stripes on her. She's painted red and she has a white tender. That's the new version of Candace. There was an old version of her. She was based off the Hogwarts Express, like her paint job. Like she was painted like the Hogwarts Express from Harry Potter. I thought that was kind of cool of Trainboy 54 to do. But he made the new version of Candace. He's still got his old one. But I'm thinking of making the old version of Candace because I think it looks a lot cooler than the new one. I mean, the new one's okay, but it's not as good as the original one. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with the new one, but I still plan to make the old one that's based off the Hogwarts Express, which is the Olton Hall, like in Thomas and O Gauge. And the other train that's the half-painted Rosie, well, I'm thinking of cutting off the chassis, because I'm going to give that Rosie 4 wheels instead of 6. And if you're wondering what I'm going to do with that engine, well, I'm going to turn her into a Pen from Modern Railroad. So I'll have the persnickety tank engine on the team. And if you're wondering what I'm going to do with the Rosie chassis, well, I'm going to use it on my Thomas Wood Rocky from Modern Railroad that I'm going to 3D print. So Trainboy17 requested that I make Pen and Rocky, but I 3D printed Rocky. Actually, I haven't yet. I made him in 3D Builder, and I saved him to my SD card. But I am going to 3D print Rocky as soon as my Thomas Wood, Rosie, and James get in the mail. And, yeah. So the yellow is coming pretty good. We're going to have to touch up a few spots that I messed up on. But we'll come back when those are dry and we'll paint the whistles gold.